Greetings to our global audience and welcome to this week's penultimate edition of Primetime News. Thanks for joining us. I'm Michael Madimba. From us here at Primetime News, we'll take this opportunity to extend our congratulatory message to Namibia's second president, Hifikepunye Pohamba, on the occasion of his 87th birthday. Wishing you good health and a serene retirement. We begin tonight's bulletin at the beleaguered national railway entity, Transnamib, where the board chairperson and his deputy tendered their resignation with immediate effect, amid the fight for the chief executive officer's contract extension. Maggie Thomas compiled our lead story. This comes amid a national railway crisis with workers striking in an alleged disagreement over the extension of the contract of Chief Executive Officer Johnny Smith. In a resignation letter seen by Nampa addressed to the Minister of Finance, Ipumbu Shimi, the Deputy Chairperson objects to the renewal of the contract of the incumbent CEO for another 5 years, a view the Chairperson disagrees with. Shishoro Kisa said the objection against the decision of the board not to advertise the CEO position is that she's of the view that in the context of all material irregularities brought to the fore and the current performance and employee climate of the company, that this decision is not only unacceptable but also grossly negligent and irresponsible. Matthews, meanwhile, in his resignation letter to Ipumbu said, the deputy chair is of the view that the board is compromised to decide to renew the contract of the CEO for another 5 years, a view that he disagrees with. Matthews said he is resigning as he would not allow his reputation and character to be drawn into question. Following the protracted turmoil at the state-owned company, workers downed tools on Wednesday demanding the removal of some executives as well as salary increases. Contacted for comment earlier today, Transnamib Corporate Communications Manager Abigail Robbenheimer said she could not comment on board issues, referring this news agency to Minister Shimi, who was not reachable at the time. Reporting for Primetime News, I'm Michael Madimba. Staying with Transnamib, employees of the entity at Otjiwarongo on Wednesday joined their colleagues in the rest of the country in embarking on industrial action after failed wage negotiations. Mulisa Simiasa, our correspondent in the Otjiwarongo region, filed this report.
About 60 employees packed 8 trains hooked to 120 tankers with cargo such as cement, sulfuric acid, petrol and diesel destined for various locations at the Otjiwarongo railway station. Their spokesperson Simon Ketunge, in an interview with Nampa, said the strike is legal and it is being led by the Namibian Transport and Allied Workers Union. Ketunga said they are demanding a salary increase of 7% across the board, 11% on housing and $500 Namibian on transport allowance, saying the high cost of living in the country has not spared Transnamib employees. The workers said the strike has started and it will continue at the station until their demands are met. Contacted for comment, Transnamib Corporate Communications Manager Abigail Robbenheimer said about 1,000 employees are in the bargaining unit and not all of them might strike. She stressed Transnamib on many occasions made it very clear that it is not in a financial position to meet the wage demands, and thus management is still open to any further discussions.
Moving on. In a collaborative effort, Mayor of Windhoek, Shade Governors, revealed that the city will construct 2 waste buyback centers where residents can sell waste, mostly recyclables, in exchange for money. Lydia Pituri was at the event and filed this report.
She was speaking at the launch of the Let's Clean Up Windhoek campaign in partnership with the Environmental Investment Fund of Namibia, Namibri, and MTC earlier this morning in the capital. The cleanup campaign will run for a period of 3 months.
And it is important to note that the City of Windhoek is committed to ensure that these centres are operational by the year 2023. Additionally, a waste beneficiation program is slated for rollout to our residents, whereby 6 incubators will be identified and empowered by the city for a period of 12 months. We also intend to promote school recycling competitions as part of the EU recycling project, where winning schools will receive a prize and a floating trophy.
Also speaking at the event, Namibri Chief Corporate Communications Officer Elizabeth Nailenge noted that over the past number of years, deforestation has cost the insurance industry billions of dollars in catastrophic claims. Thus, they are of the notion that in ensuring cleanliness of the city goes in tandem with tree planting throughout the city.
We add on to that project by investing in the planting of trees within the city. So Namibia, together with the partners, have added on to the project of cleanliness to take on the task to plant close to 200 trees around the city.
On his part, MTC Chief Human Capital and Corporate Affairs Officer Tim McCountry noted that with the $775,000 Namibian, which the 4 partners have collected, they will immediately commence with the campaign.
This is going to be a 3-month project where we do not just want to see the 4 partners on here. We want to see a lot more partners because cleanliness is everybody's responsibility. But we are starting with these 4 partners, MTC, the City of Windhoek, EIF, and Namibia. But as the project goes along, we want every Namibian corporate to come on board and make sure that we are cleaning not just the city, but Namibia as well.
More than 135,200 children were immunized against measles and rubella countrywide by Monday as part of the integrated vaccination campaign by the Ministry of Health and Social Services. Maggie Thomas, Father's Story. The Ministry of Health's Director of Primary Healthcare, Naomi Shopala, told NAMPA the campaign is progressing well as parents and guardians are responding positively and bringing their children to be immunized. The campaign offers a wide range of health services including measles and rubella immunization for children between 9 months and 5 years, polio, pentavalent and pneumococcal vaccines for children up to 5 years, vitamin A for children aged between 6 months and 5 years, as well as albendazole for deworming given to children aged 12 months to 5 years. The immunization campaign was largely necessitated by the outbreak of measles in the Omusati region and the re-emergence of polio outbreaks on the continent. Shopala further stated that the ministry has received support from various institutions since the beginning of the campaign, especially from development partners. Reporting for Primetime News, I'm Michael Madimba. When we return, we'll take a look at the happenings on at Chita Cement. Welcome to Primetime Biz, where we break down and make sense of all things business and economics, and lead in the segment tonight. Chita Cement has withdrawn all benefits proposed to employees during salary negotiations, which have reached a deadlock. Let's find out why. The management of the Chita Cement factory, situated outside Otjiwarongo in the Otjiwarongo region, announced the decision on Tuesday. General Manager Kevin Lee told NAMPA in a telephonic interview on Wednesday that the withdrawal of the offers was necessitated by revenue losses the company continues to suffer as a result of the strike, which started on 21 July 2022. Lee said in May this year the company proposed an increase of $800 for employees earning less than $6,000, while those who earn above $6,000 were offered an increase of $500, which they did not accept. He stated that the company management also proposed the introduction of a pension fund that would have started in January 2023 and the introduction of a medical aid scheme with a contribution of 80% by the company, but this was rejected by employees as well. Lee noted that the company has suffered losses of more than 10 million Namibian dollars, which makes it impossible to introduce any salary increase, pension or housing allowance. He, however, stated that the medical aid proposal still stands. Mine Workers Union of Namibia representative Navital Ngipitwako, who attended the meeting, told this press agency the news was disheartening for the employees. Reporting for Primetime News, I'm Michael Madimba. United Nations Chief Antonio Guterres met the leaders of Ukraine and Turkey, formerly Turkey, in Lviv earlier today, following a deal reached last month that allowed the resumption of grain exports after Russia's invasion of Ukraine blocked essential global supplies. Lydia Pituri reports.
The meeting also comes days after the head of NATO said it was urgent that the UN's atomic watchdog was allowed to inspect Ukraine's Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant, where a Russian occupation has sparked concerns of a nuclear accident. A spokesman for Guterres said that the UN chief, Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky, and Turkish counterpart Recep Tayyip Erdogan will discuss the grain deal, as well as the need for a political solution to this conflict. He added that he had no doubt that the issue of the nuclear power plant would be raised. In his regular nightly address on Wednesday, Zelensky said Guterres had arrived and that the two would work to get the necessary results for Ukraine. Guterres is slated to travel on Friday to Odessa, one of the 3 ports involved in the grain export deal.
Stay tuned for the sports segment, but before that, we bring you the economics roundup and the weather forecast. Welcome to Sport Planet, the segment that unpacks all things sport and action. The English Premier League headlines the segment. British billionaire Sir Jim Ratcliffe would be interested in buying Manchester United if the Premier League club was up for sale. Ratcliffe, who owns the chemical conglomerate Ineos and is a United fan, was unsuccessful in his bid to buy Chelsea in May and has now turned his attention to the Red Devils, the PA news agency understands. George Hendricks brings us the details.
The news comes after a report in Bloomberg said the Glazer family, who have owned the club since 2005, are contemplating selling a minority stake in the club. Ratcliffe recently tried to buy Chelsea, with his late offer being rejected as Todd Bowley was successful in taking over from Roman Abramovich. A spokesperson for Ineos said the company would be interested in purchasing a smaller stake with a view to eventually buying the club. The Glazers are hugely unpopular with United fans who are unhappy at the club's ownership model and declining performances on the pitch, having not won a Premier League title in 9 years. The supporters regularly protest against them. Manchester United did not comment on the story. The Ratcliffe announcement comes on the same day that Elon Musk joked about buying the club. The Tesla founder, who is a billionaire, made reference to United in a tweet. Musk wrote, "To be clear, I support the left half of the Republican Party and the right half of the Democratic Party. Also, I'm buying Manchester United. You're welcome." He later clarified that this is a long-running joke on Twitter. "I'm not buying any sports teams, although if it were any team, it would be Man U. They were my fave team as a kid." George Hendricks for Sport Planet.
On to some tennis. Rafa Nadal has been knocked out of the Western and Southern Open after going down to Borna Coric in 3 grueling sets. The 36-year-old Spaniard was pushed to the limit and beyond in what was his first match since an abdominal tear forced him out of Wimbledon. George Hendricks once again reports.
Croatia's Coric, who also withdrew from Wimbledon due to injury, started strong against the world number 3, absorbing Nadal's best shots and returning them in kind. Both men saved 2 set points before the 25-year-old claimed first blood in the lengthy tiebreak. Nadal then rallied in the second, making the most of his lone breakpoint opportunity to force a deciding third set. For Sport Planet, I'm George Hendricks.
Stand by for your sports roundup. With the sports news, we've come to the end of tonight's edition of Primetime News. Many thanks for watching. A kind reminder that if you're new to this channel, do subscribe, like, share and press the notifications bell to stay posted on the latest happenings locally and internationally. Catch us again tomorrow for the week's last edition of Primetime News. From myself, Michael Madimba, and the entire production crew, it's good night.